Enoch. The first expression of Enoch is found in Genesis chapter 5. There was an Enoch who was Cain's son, and this is not the same Enoch. Genesis 5 verse 21. When Enoch had lived 65 years, he became the father of Methuselah. And from our Bible understanding, we know that his son Methuselah was the oldest living man as recorded in Scripture. When we study the genealogies in the Bible, we will discover that Enoch was Noah's great-grandfather. Jude 14, Amplified Bible. It was about these people that Enoch, in the seventh generation from Adam, prophesied when he said, "Look, the Lord came with myriads of his holy ones." Jude says that Enoch forewarned about the Lord's coming judgment against them. Enoch was a man who walked with God amid moral decay in the days of Noah and spoke of the coming judgment. In an era when most of his counterparts only had the record of their birth and the children they also gave birth to, Enoch is like a breath of fresh air. Enoch was introduced like others, but his testimony is eye-catching. His description is short but heavy and weighty. This means something about his pure walk with God translated him. His life has provided a template for so many people throughout different generations, as it teaches us to live for the audience of one. He teaches us to passionately seek an intimate communion and companionship with God, knowing that as we do this, we will experience God in a new dimension. Genesis 5, verses 18 to 24, Amplified Bible. When Jared was 162 years old, he became the father of Enoch. Jared lived 800 years after the birth of Enoch and had other sons and daughters, so Jared lived 962 years and he died. When Enoch was 65 years old, he became the father of Methuselah. Enoch walked in habitual fellowship with God 300 years after the birth of Methuselah and had other sons and daughters. So all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And in reverent fear and obedience, Enoch walked with God, and he was not found among men, because God took him away to be home with him. Enoch's case was the first rapture documented as God just took him. Perhaps the fellowship was so intense that the presence of God just enveloped and whisked him away. The book of Hebrews talked about the men of whom this world was not worthy. Hebrews 11, verses 5 to 6, Amplified Bible. By faith that pleased God, Enoch was caught up and taken to heaven so that he would not have a glimpse of death. And he was not found because God had taken him, for even before he was taken to heaven, he received the testimony, still on record, that he had walked with God and pleased him. But without faith, it is impossible to walk with God and please him, for whoever comes near to God must necessarily believe that God exists and that he rewards those who earnestly and diligently seek him. It is a great reassurance to know that God will always prepare sufficiently and abundantly for his own, and tenderly watch over us till we blossom in every miraculous way. 2 Chronicles 16 verse 9, Amplified Bible. For the eyes of the Lord move to and fro throughout the earth, so that he may support those whose heart is completely his. You have acted foolishly in this. Therefore, from now on, you will have wars. So, while the Father lavishes his goodness on us in order to see us grow, what he really wants from us is an honest and unpretentious response to the love he gives us. But a time is coming, and is already here, when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit, from the heart and the inner self, and in truth, for the Father seeks such people to be his worshippers. God is spirit, the source of life, yet invisible to mankind, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth. John 4, verses 23 to 24. God is always looking for faithful and loyal seeds who will live their lives completely for Him. These are the vessels through which He can truly use and manifest His glory. Enoch, according to Scripture, did not share Adam's and the rest of his descendants' fate. He did not die. Enoch is used as an example of the rapture in the New Testament. One goal of Enoch's translation is to emphasize the truth of Scripture, which is that there is an ultimate redemption for all of us who have placed our faith in the Lord. Though the vast majority of believers will pass away physically, Enoch's example gives believers hope that they will ultimately triumph over death.